First there was Ben and Jerry. No, wait, that was Tom and Jerry. Then came the ice cream dudes. Anywho, fast forward a bit, and this is Luke and Lois on Triple M Modern Digital.
That's right, it's Luke and Lois, and can you believe it, Luke? I'm excited on a Monday!
Wow, I don't believe you, so no, I can't believe it.
I was lying!
Good.
No, we've got a
Now
very...
simmer down, all right? It's a Monday.
very-
Mike, turn off the music.
We have a very boring show.
No, we don't. We've got a grouse show today. It's Super Bowl Monday today.
Yes.
Which means we've been watching Super Bowl ads all day. Isn't that what anyone does? I haven't watched the game. I don't even know who won.
I don't even know who was competing in the game.
I do know
It's a
that.
sport. I have zero interest. But I did watch the ads. Scientologists put a great ad on the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm converted. We're going to be talking about that later. Also, I have an update on my Savoy's mission.
We sent Lois to Brisbane on an infiltration mission with 1 packet of Savoys to infiltrate the Jatz Rat.
1 packet.
I look forward to hearing how it went.
Yes. And also, Luke, I heard a very interesting conversation in the office that completely mystified me. That is going to come up next. We're going to get to the bottom of this. It's Luke and Lewis. Luke, we have been having renovations in our studios all week to do with the air conditioning. They're finally putting air conditioning in our studios because it gets very hot when we record in here.
Yeah, it's boiling. On Friday it was about 35 degrees in here. We've often, it's a sauna in here.
Yeah, and the person in charge of the air conditioning is Gino, who's mainly the technician at the radio. We see him all the time because Triple M Modern Digital is always broken. So we have a lot of interaction with him all the time. We're basically best mates at work.
Yeah.
And Gino has been in control of telling the builders what to do in regards to air conditioning so they're not building while someone's on air, basically. I had one of the most confusing experiences with Gino the Technicians earlier in the week, last week, when you weren't here. I was sitting at a desk editing with headphones on, so he didn't know that I could hear him. He was taking the builders around to
Such a sneaky way to eavesdrop on conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Just like people are like, oh, he's listening to music. No, I'm not, mate. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, so Gino's behind me with 2 builders and he's telling them when they can build. Now, this is where it gets confusing because I heard Gino talking in the third person. So Gino said these exact words. Gino said, from 6 until 8 p.m., there's a radio show in here, so you can't be doing air conditioning at that time.
And Gino said.
Gino said.
Gino, you should have said, and Gino spoke thus. Gino said, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so he's that's
I heard
weird.
him talk in the third person.
He doesn't regularly do this. He's not a particularly weird guy.
So I don't know why.
It's very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming up with theories I couldn't work out because it was definitely him.
Oh, Luke,
I know
mate,
Gino. We
Luke
talk to him
thinks
all the time.
this is weird.
Yeah, so I was thinking, well, maybe he was really rude to them over email and then was pretending, oh, that's another guy, Gino. I don't know who that is.
That's a good play.
That's a good plan. So I was thinking that we could call Gino and see what Gino thinks about this whole fiasco.
Before we do it, I've never been so rude to someone over email that I'm like, I must pretend my name's Jim. Like, I've never been so like...
Yeah.
They're going, oh, that Luke guy, yeah, what a pig. Anyway, I'll walk you through the building. Like, that's not happening.
All right, so we'll give Gino a call and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
I just want to know why he did this. Yeah.
Hello, Gino speaking.
Gee, you going? It's Luke and Lewis.
Oh, hello, gentlemen.
Yes.
How are you going, Gino?
Pretty good. What's this about?
Well, I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Late last week, Lewis heard you talking in third person.
Yes, and Luke heard this off Lewis.
And Lewis was just wondering if talking in third person is something that Gino does often. I heard you talking to the builders about the air conditioning.
Would that be such a bad thing if I did?
No, it's just
not really
strange. We thought that you might have done something bad over email and were pretending that you weren't Gino to them.
Yeah.
That was our theory.
I heard you say to the builders, Gino said. That's what you said. And I was just really confused of why you were talking about yourself to the builders.
Right.
Is there another Gino?
Have you guys got a bet on this, or what do you think it is?
I'm actually now thinking there's another Gino.
Yeah.
And another Gino said that to them.
Well, Gino's a very unique name. That's why I was like, well, surely there's not 2 Ginos.
Right. Well, there actually is another one. And
Right. So that's the mystery. You were just talking about the other Gino.
That's right. So there are, in fact, two, and it's actually probably the second one I've ever met in my life.
Wow. And he happened to say that. What a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible. Well, you know what? The benefit of this is now you can actually be really rude via email and just blame it on the other Gino.
That's true.
So how come we've never met this other Gino? He just...
Well, I can introduce you if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to know two Ginos.
It would be a privilege to know two, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, let's not go too far, mate.
Well, I'm glad that you weren't speaking in the third person in a professional conversation, just for your sake.
That's right. No, Gino never does.
Now I'm confused.
He could be talking about himself or the other one.
Talking about.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Gino. We're going to track down the other Gino.
Glad that's resolved now.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
Cheers. Bye.
I think we're going to have to nickname the other Gino because things are going to get really confusing in the office.
Well, you know what? Gino already sounds like a nickname.
Yeah.
It sounds short
What's it
for
short
something.
for?
I don't know.
Genopolis? I don't know.
We'll find out during the song. It's Luke and Lewis. Luke, it's time to talk about my undercover infiltration of Brisbane to spread the word of the Savoy boys to that entire city.
Yes, on Friday it was decided that you were going to be going in with one mission to your trip to Brisbane.
Yes.
Which was take box 17. We've labelled all 40 boxes that we got sent by Arnott's. Box 17 you're taking to Brisbane with one goal, which was plant the box in a supermarket next to all the Jats in the hope that someone would buy the packet of Savoys, it would change his life, he'd spread the word, and thus dominating the Savoy boys in Brisbane.
Yes,
one
because
state
Brisbane
at a time.
only sells Jats, they don't really sell Savoys, so everyone there is a Jatz Rats, but only because of ignorance. It's not their fault.
Oh, it's not by choice.
So I was there to convert the entire city.
Yeah.
And as I was doing it, I was posting videos to the Luke and Lewis Instagram, Snapchat Instagram story that you could watch.
And then, all of a sudden, I mean, I was back at home and watching you on your mission. I was watching as a spectator like everyone else was.
Man, I was deep behind enemy lines. It was very stressful. I was surrounded by Jatz Rats at all times.
Well, here's the thing. You stopped doing updates, and I still don't know what happened.
Yes.
Because you stopped doing Snapchat updates, and I said, look, don't tell me. Just do it on the show. But I wanted to bring up with you.
Yes.
Okay, so I was viewing your Snapchats. Firstly, you missed your flight, so not a great start to the mission.
Look, mate, the Jatz Rats, they were on to me from the start. They made me wake up late, and they made me miss my flight. I don't know how they did it, but they were trying to sabotage the mission. Luckily, I bought another flight, and I was on the way there.
So you eventually made it to Brisbane. I saw that you tucked in, I think, did you buy an extra seat for the packet of Savoys? You had your Savoys tucked into the seat
No, I get
belt?
emergency seating every time I take a plane because they look at me how tall I am.
Yep.
They give me the emergency seats, and luckily there was a seat next to me, so I
tucked
put
in
my
the Savoys.
Savoys there and I clipped them in.
You did.
For safety's
clipped
sake.
in box 17, which was a nice touch, and I appreciate that, but not very undercover. I mean, they would have seen that.
Well, that's why they tried to sabotage me.
Yeah.
Everyone saw me get out my box of Savoys, clip it in.
I thought you'd try and hide them in your sock or something like, at least, I don't know, I'm not going to say where else you could have hidden them, but like, you could have hit them and you didn't really...
got creative.
Yeah, and you didn't, and they were out in the open. But anyway, you get to Brisbane, and then all of a sudden, the Instagram update stops.
Communication was radio silence from me.
It was, and there was no way I could contact you. Some argue that I could have texted. I couldn't be bothered. I was busy. So I kept on checking Instagram stories like everyone else, and people started messaging me. What's the story with the Savoys? Lewis, has he put them there yet? And I'm like, mate, I'm in the dark like you are.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Saturday night on my Instagram feed, there is a picture posted by you of you were doing a show in Brisbane. That's why you went. You were doing the show on stage, holding the microphone, and in the background, blurred in the background, what do I see? I see box 17 of Savoys opened on stage, clearly opened.
Look, mate, I landed behind enemy lines.
What happened?
I was surrounded by Jatz Rats, and in wars, every plan remains the plan until contact with the enemy, and that's when it went haywire. I was surrounded by Jatz Rats, and I realized I couldn't get to a supermarket. They were trying to stop me. They also made me almost late to my show. So,
I think you're very unorganized and are just blaming Jatz Rats.
Mate,
for your incompetence.
Don't dog a Savoy boy, all right? Hear me out.
I think you're dogging the Savoy boys. Explain why the packet was... How did it even make it to the venue? It should have been already, dropped at Coles.
Leave it alone. Right, so... This actually worked out much better, okay? Instead of leaving one box in a supermarket, converting one person who we then had to trust to convert everyone else, right? That person could have been a Jatz Rat and thrown it straight in the bin. I made sure at my show, I opened the box and I gave one Savoy Bicky to every member of the audience. All of those Jatz Rats in there, I converted those poor souls, and everyone who had a Savoy Bicky realised that the Savoy boys are the truth and the future of this great country. And they are going to spread the word, which I think. Thank you very much. What do you think of this new plan?
Okay, I think you should have. Okay, the only problem I have with it is just leaving your other Savoy boys in the dark back home. Us, Vic and Tassie Savoy boys we're in chaos.
Look, I do apologise for the lack of communication, but it was...
You went dark, and then we all lost faith in you, I'll be honest. And it's good to see now...
It was an undercover mission.
Yeah, but you should have just let everyone know the objective change, but now, obviously, because there are Jatz Rats...
Haven't you seen the last 5 007 movies,
yeah,
right? Sometimes you've got to go rogue, but you get the mission done.
You don't call the enemy and tell them your plan, generally. So I'm glad you didn't post it. Okay, I'm glad. And so, yeah, you handed out Savoy. It's really, you were trying to target one thing over when you actually got 100.
I got 100 Savoy converts that are going to spread the word. And in fact, what we're going to do after the song is we're going to call one of the Savoy boys that was at the show. Well, one of the Jatz Rats, the former Jatz Rats that was
now
at the show.
Savoy boy.
Now they're a Savoy boy. And I'm going to prove to you that my new plan was much better and converted many more people.
I want to ask him what it was like to try Savoy for the very first time.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, this is going to be groundbreaking radio up next, ladies and gentlemen.
Luke and Lewis. We talked previously about how I went on a mission to Brisbane to convert that entire state of Jatz Rats to Savoys. We're having a big debate on this show. Are Savoys better than Jatz? Spoiler, they are. Now, nobody gets Savoys.
By the way, when we say debate, no one...
It's not a debate.
It's not a debate. It's we know Savoys are better. Just some people are trying to debate us on it.
Yeah. Well, we figured out that the only reason why generally people like Jatz more than Savoys is that they've never had Savoys. So I went on a mission to convert the entire state of Brisbane that don't get Savoys, and I took box 17 of the 40 boxes we were sent from Arnott's of Savoys to Brisbane to one of my shows where I just decided to convert the entire audience. I handed out one bicky for each audience member, and I converted the entire audience.
And I believe we're actually going to give one of the guys who was in the audience on the night, Liam, a call.
Yes.
We've got an ex-Jatz Rat on the line, but hopefully now converted Savoy boy.
Well, absolutely converted. It was,
we had one.
It was like communion, man.
You only need like a nibble.
Yeah, everyone came up to me, I gave them a bicky, and they just got overtaken by the spirit of Savoys.
Yeah.
So, Liam, welcome to the show. Are you a Savoy boy?
I am now, fellas.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a Savoy boy, being converted. So, Liam, you live in Brisbane.
Sure do.
Yeah, so you really wouldn't have had any Savoys. You would have been a Jatz Rat your whole life.
Yeah, pretty much. I never even heard of Savoys until, you guys brought them up on the show.
That's the problem we've been receiving a lot online is the unawareness of Savoys, and we just assumed everyone knew about it. But I was aware of Jatz, though. That's the thing.
So you've never had Savoys in Brisbane?
Never.
What was that like as a child?
Well, honestly, I always thought that Jatz were pretty damn great, but, now that I've tried a Savoy, I honestly feel like I've been missing out my entire life.
Yeah, understandably.
You absolutely have. So you've only had one Savoy biscuit and you've just put Jatz in the bin. You're no longer a Jatz Rat.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm actually at lunch now, and I'm at work, I'm on lunch, and I actually went out yesterday and managed to find a packet of Savoys, and I'm currently eating it for lunch.
Brilliant.
Really?
Wow.
Was that in an independent supermarket?
Yeah, it was. Just an IGA.
Nice.
So Brisbane friends, IGA, that's where you get your Savoys. That's where you can get yourself hooked up.
Well, I had one question. I wasn't there on Saturday, Brisbane, and I'm sure it was a momentous occasion watching all the conversions happening from Jatz Rats to Savoy Boys. But, Liam, I want you to kind of take me back to that moment where you had your first Savoy, because I don't actually remember my first Savoy. I think I was an infant, and it was forced down my throat. By, my parents or whatever. But,
as every good parent does.
As every good parent does to their infant. But I just want you to kind of take me back to that moment where it first touched your mouth.
Oh, well, look, it was honestly really magical. Like, at the second it hit my mouth, I was kind of like, this is going to be nothing. This is just going to be, a normal Jatz. but the second I bit down, I could just, taste how much better it was and how much more butter there was in it.
So exciting just to hear
told you.
the enthusiasm.
This is great. I'm happy to speak to one of the first Brisbane Savoy boy converts. This is absolutely incredible. We converted 100 people that night, and I assume that you will now be a prophet of the Savoys and you'll spread the word throughout Brisbane, and then everyone will convert.
Oh, 100%. I'm never going to touch Jatz ever again.
There it
Thank
is,
you very
ladies and
much,
gentlemen.
Liam. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for joining us, Liam. Just before we go, we have one question for you. You've eaten one Savoy, but do you think that Luke and I could eat, split between us, 2,000 Savoys in one day? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, well, Luke's a bit of a fatty, so I reckon it could be done.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I reckon Luke will be able to cover 1,500 of them. I'll do the rest. And
exactly. He does 2/3, you do the other third.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Liam. Appreciate you.
Have a good day, fellas.
See you, mate.
Bye.
There was hints of a Jatz Rat with his attitude at the end, but
Oh, you've gone off him now.
Yeah.
Looking chubby.
nah,
Mate.
I still respect the man more than I've ever respected any Jatz Rat.
That's true. This is Luke and Lewis. Luke, have you been watching the Super Bowl, or did you watch it?
No, didn't catch it this year. Usually do watch it, actually. It was the Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
No, I'm only like 90% on that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it was. That's what I've seen.
I usually watch it, but this year I just didn't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because every bit of me goes, oh yeah, that would be interesting, and then I'm just like, why? I don't follow the season.
Yeah. It's like it's watching the final of something that you never watched. I never understood people who do that. But I do like looking at all the Super Bowl ads.
The ads are the best part. That and the halftime show.
Yeah, so I've been looking at the Super Bowl ads, and they're a big deal. Like, they're some of the most expensive ads that you can run. Like, 30 seconds during the Super Bowl will run you millions of dollars. Like, $5 million for just 30 seconds. Budweiser.
Whenever I see that, Budweiser. Well, the one I was going to talk about was whenever I see that, I know how much they cost, and I see a Doritos ad, and I'm like, is that ad really selling $5 million worth of Doritos?
That's a good point.
Like, that's a lot of packets of Doritos.
Yeah.
It's almost 1 million packets. Well, it's more.
Well, Budweiser actually spent $5 million to advertise that they donated $100,000 of water, which, I'm not too sure they're doing that the right way around. Maybe they could
Perhaps they should have paid for a late night TV out on Conan and advertised that they donated $4.9 million.
Probably a good idea.
That would have been a lot smarter.
But my favorite ad on the Super Bowl was an ad by a surprising brand, Scientology.
Row.
Yeah, they had Row. Luke got a little bit excited by then. They ran an ad.
I said well wrong, everyone.
They ran an ad during the Super Bowl, a 30-second ad.
Oh, wow.
They ran a 30-second ad during the Super Bowl that had hardly any dialogue in it.
Blushing.
Yeah, right. So this is the only dialogue that was in their ad.
That's like, what do they do in there?
Have you met a Scientologist?
Yeah, like, what do they believe?
That's the only dialogue in the whole ad. The rest of it is 30 seconds of stock footage of buildings and cars and clocks. I don't understand what the ad was about.
Well, the ad's just posing the questions of what Scientology is, which is great because I haven't done too much research about Scientology. Really interesting, but the whole point of an ad is to give me information about the product.
Yeah, it was a good start. It was like, what is Scientology? And I'm like, you know what? That's a great question.
Usually,
I would love to know. And then they just didn't answer
the ads are
it.
like, what is the iPhone? And then they go on to explain all the specifications and things an iPhone can do.
Yeah, that ad was basically like, what's Scientology? I don't know, but here's a picture of a building.
Well, okay, but if you were to explain that I don't think people are open to conversion into a new religion midway through an intense game of American football.
Well, I think maybe if your team won, you'd be like, oh, this is an act of Scientology's God, obviously. So what I've done is I actually found out that the ad they ran was the wrong ad. Mm-hmm. They actually missed out on a bunch of dialogue that they were supposed to run. So I've got in contact with Scientology, and I found the
religion or the...
Oh, look, mate,
or the guy.
Just don't dig too deep into this, otherwise it'll all fall through.
Okay.
Quite like Scientology.
Yeah.
So I found the ad that was supposed to run with all of the questions answered about what Scientology actually is.
Yep.
This is full of their actual beliefs. This is all true. And Mike, hit it. We believe in an evil alien god called Xenu. Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. Don't worry, he mostly keeps to himself. Our bodies are inhabited by dead aliens called thetans. It sounds scary, but if you pay us thousands of dollars, we can remove them with special machines that we invented. Won't tell you how they work. L. Ron Hubbard invented Scientology. He was also a science fiction writer. Those two things aren't related at all and have no impact on our our religion. Luke, I wanted to talk to you about this new marketing campaign that's being run by a rival show.
Yes, there's a rival station here in Melbourne that has started running a huge marketing campaign around the city. Billboards, bus stops.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's TV. It's for a new show called Jason PJ. And their slogan really
It's a breakfast radio show.
Yeah, and their slogan really stuck out to me. Their slogan for the show is always awkward, which, I mean... Surely that's not exactly what you want to listen to in the radio. But, those guys are really awkward together. I'll tune in.
Yeah. What? They've got no chemistry. Sweet.
That's really what the radio industry's been looking for years. Two guys in a room that don't really like each other.
They're called Jason PJ. It's guy and a girl, and they're running with always awkward. And in the photo, I think they're comically.
Hugging each other in an awkward way.
Awkward way. So, I hope. It probably wasn't even planned. They're always so awkward.
All the time. They're just awkward. That's how they got the job. So I was thinking, Luke, I didn't really think that you and I are quite awkward together.
No, but they're smashing the ratings with this. That's the thing.
We're on breakfast radio on FM. We're stuck in here on digital radio, being mates with each other. I really think we need to be more awkward if we want the ratings to come up.
God, we're so charismatic. It's just it's ruining our show. And, but they've been rating super well and good on them. They're a great show. And we're sitting there having a bit of a giggle at them when really we should be
We're the joke.
We're the joke because we're so... Oh, this is I couldn't think of what to say.
That's good, man. So why don't we keep going with this?
Okay.
And we'll just try and from now be one of the most awkward shows on air.
Before we do, we've actually got... we've never really mentioned this on the show. We've actually got a ratings robot that actually can give... live updates of how your ratings are going at that time. We never really use it. There's no point.
Well, normally we can hear it in our ears, but the listeners can't hear it. I mean, it's a very stressful thing to hear at all times how you're rating, but we thought we would turn it on for you guys.
All we got to do is get Radio Mike to turn it on, and I guess now we'll just try and up the awkwardness and see if we go up in ratings.
All right, cool. So the robot's on. Do you want to start?
Yeah, okay. Hey, man. Hey, Lois. Hey. What's going on?
Good, thanks.
Ratings increased.
Hey, Luke, I got you a bottle of water. Enjoy it.
You too.
I don't have a bottle of water.
I have one.
So awkward.
You have now passed Triple J. Suck on that, June rats. Hey, man, I've been meaning to actually ask you. It might be a little bit personal, but are you pregnant? I don't mean to intrude.
No, dude, I'm not. I've just put on a little bit of weight.
Oh.
Also, I'm a male.
You have now passed Jason PJ. That's awkward.
That's awkward.
That is very awkward. I'm so sorry for bringing that on our show. You are blowing up the ratings meter. Please stop being so awkward. Okay, look, I don't know if this awkward thing's really working with our show.
Yeah.
I think...
I mean,
maybe
it's boosting
the
ratings, but it's not really us.
Yeah. No, I feel like we're usually pretty good at radio, and this is not... Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the ratings are going up, which is great. I don't know.
It's ruined our integrity.
Okay,
Let's talk about something else.
Can we just go back to non-awkward
just
stuff?
Just normal Luke and Lewis show. What do you got?
Okay, well, there actually was something I wanted to bring up with you, Lewis.
Yep.
You released a Facebook video a couple of days ago, and oh my goodness, I didn't want to say this to you, but who was the girl in that video, man? She was unbelievably attractive. Yeah. I watched the video twice. I watched it first time I was mesmerized.
The one with the black hair?
No. I watched the video twice, man, and I was trying to find it on Facebook, and I think I fell a bit in love, to be honest.
Sorry, that was my mum.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not awkward at all.
No, this is great.
No, I do. Yeah, do you want a number?
Yeah, can I come over for dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'll just make sure Dad's not home. You can come over.
Sweet, dude. Your mum listens to this show.
Oh, that'll be awkward, won't it?
This will be awkward now.
Ratings are through the roof. It's Luke and Lewis. before we get into the meat of this segment, we had a sketch that just played before the song, and like just about every one of our sketches, we went off script, did a bit of ad-libbing, and you let slip that you're in love with my mum.
We were joking about things that could be awkward to say on air. I did think at one point I said your mum was extremely attractive and that I'm in love with her, in the hope that she wouldn't be listening to our radio show in this new time slot.
Look, mate, back off, all right? I don't want this to be the Lois and Dad show, okay? No, you're not my dad. You never will be, okay? You're not going to... Even if you become my stepfather, I'm not calling you Dad, right? I'll call you Luke.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll disrespect you. Now, you were worried that potentially Mum may have been listening to that.
Yeah.
She was. She just texted me. Sent me a text. She said, I heard that. And I said, we were joking. Then Mum said, I know. I loved it. Not really happy.
Yeah, she did.
Stop hitting on my mum through the airways.
Not hitting on your mum.
Sharon, Luke's mum, if you're listening, I would love to take you out for a chicken parmesanas one day.
She doesn't really eat parmas. It's just me.
Well, that's all right. As long as I can take her somewhere, I'm happy.
Okay, to be honest, I'm sorry, Sandra. I didn't realise you were listening. And
Wait, so you're saying now that she's ugly?
No, I don't.
Rude.
I'm in a pickle. Can we move on?
All right, let's move on. So we're returning to a segment that we haven't done for a while called Kashis Columns. Oh, I really need to make some money. Who's going to help me?
Kochie's Columns.
Making money with David Koch. Right, so Kochie from Sunrise, does he do Sunrise?
Yeah, David Koch, businessman, morning TV presenter and entrepreneur. David Koch writes columns for news.com.au.
He's incredibly rich. I actually didn't know this about him until I started researching him and find out this dude's absolutely loaded, and he wants you to be as well.
He's probably richer than the cash cow, which is that's rich stuff. And he writes a column, I think it's weekly, and occasionally, this is the second time we've done it, we like to delve into the mind of David Koch on this show because he gives great financial tips.
Oh, yeah, because Lord knows we need it.
Well, I particularly think you need it today. I've found one he's done which particularly caught my interest. It is Kochie's tips for being an entrepreneur.
Love it. I consider myself a little bit of a businessman.
You definitely fancy yourself as someone, a bit of a go-getter in the business game just because you invest in cryptocurrency.
No.
What else do you do other than cryptocurrency that is
Mate, I have my own website, loosespears.com. Buy a t-shirt, get a ticket. Hook me up, please. I need to buy more cryptocurrency. It's crashing.
Yes. So... Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, yeah. Look, I run my own business.
I think you need some
I fly
tips
around the country, but I would love to hear some tips because as an entrepreneur, I yearn for that knowledge.
Right. The first one is you love a challenge. Now, I know you quite well.
Yep.
And you don't mind taking the easy route.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Such as we could have thought of another segment to do, but you were like, what's an old one we haven't done in a while?
That's true.
Taking the easy route.
No, this is a massive challenge, talking about Kochie for 4 minutes.
Yes.
How do you make that interesting? Look at his head. There you go. Challenge 1.
All right.
I've passed it.
Actually, you are quite self-motivated. That's the second one. This one, I'm not sure.
Good on you, Lewis. Thanks, mate. Just a bit of motivation for myself.
The third one, which I think is a very important one from Kochie, and he knows, they see the big picture. Now, David Koch, he sees the big picture.
I exclusively see big pictures.
He called the drop of Bitcoin before it happened.
That's true.
He sees big picture.
Yeah, that was a giant picture. Should have seen that coming. Mate, I exclusively look at big pictures.
You had a lot of money invested in Bitcoin, and we're like, don't worry, mate, it's going to keep going up.
Mate, I'm still in a profit, but a much smaller profit than it was about a month ago. But yeah, I exclusively look at big pictures. I remember one time I went to an art gallery and they were showing Polaroids. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. Just show me big pictures, mate. I'm an entrepreneur. Don't you know who I am? Lewis Spears.
Yeah, boycott that A4 garbage.
Absolutely. A3 or nothing.
Yeah. All right.
What's the next tip?
They take responsibility and they're organised.
Absolutely.
Now, okay.
I'm responsible.
Earlier in the show,
organised.
If you just tuned in, Lewis missed his flight to Brisbane on the weekend.
Yeah, but that wasn't my fault.
No, you blamed a sleep-in.
See, now I'm struggling to take responsibility for this without sounding disorganised.
Did you even set an alarm?
You've really backed me into a corner,
Yes.
mate.
I don't think you're an entrepreneur.
I take responsibility for nothing. Oh, now I'm not taking responsibility, am I? Well, look, I got most of them.
And the final one is, which you definitely don't do, they lead, not follow.
Who am I following? Who am I following, mate?
Me. I'm leading this segment right now.
You are too.
Oh, actually, that wasn't the final one. The final one is they control fear.
I control fear. It's one of my superpowers.
Oh! Sorry, I was just a bit scared.
Got him wrapped around my finger. Look at Lois.
That was Kashis Columns. Lois, on the weekend, sitting at home, as I do, don't do a lot, and I was sitting on my bed, and all of a sudden, my mum rushes up the hallway and just starts yelling, right? And I've got to give you some context of how our house is laid out.
Yes.
The front stairs to head into the house, to get into the house, you walk up the stairs directly past my bedroom window, right?
Yeah, it's a classic city apartment in Diamond City.
Yes. And so you've got to walk up the stairs and you go past my bedroom, which means that if there's anyone coming up the stairs and my window's open, you can clearly hear what is said in my room. So
was your window open?
My window was wide open. It was a hot day, and Mum had spotted two Mormons walking across the street with
they were door knocking
our street with their little pad and paper, ready to give us the pitch.
I don't understand
Mormonism.
The whole Mormon door knocking pitch thing. Who's sitting at home being like, you know what would be good at 3 p.m. on a Sunday? A religious experience.
Yeah.
From strangers.
No, a new one.
Yeah, a new one from something I know nothing about. That'd be nice.
So Mum wasn't interested, right? So she spotted them from across the road.
Yep.
She runs up the hallway and yells at the top of her lungs, "No one answer the door. There's Mormons knocking on the door." And they've heard it. Like they're a meter away from her.
She yelled it into your bedroom, which basically means she yelled it out the window.
She technically yelled it out. She might as well have just popped her head out and been like, "Hey guys, we're going to avoid answering the door. We're not home. You can leave." But she goes, "Just pretend." Like she's still going, like, "Mum." I'm trying to like mouth to her, "Mum, they're right there." And she's like, "No one answered the door. Let's just pretend we're not home." And I'm like, firstly, Dad's out in the backyard doing gardening. Yeah. The radio is pumping really loud. There's music coming from the backyard. Yeah. There's 3 cars in the driveway. The garage is open, and the flywire door is open.
So it's very obvious that you're home, and they heard your mum yell.
Yeah.
Well, just pretend we're not home. That doesn't make sense. That'd be like if I walked up to a girl to try and pick her up, and she looks at her friends and goes, "I'm just going to pretend that I'm in a relationship." And then she looks at me
and goes,
well, I heard that.
Sorry, I've actually got a boyfriend. You're like, "Oh, okay."
I believe you.
But the thing that still got me right was they clearly heard.
Yeah.
They still knocked. They were still like, "We can turn this no into a yes."
That's commitment. They were obviously filled up with the power of whatever God Mormons worship. Luke and Lewis. That brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very much for listening. It was a great show. So many memories were made today, Luke, weren't there?
Yeah. Why are you being so nostalgic?
Mate, it's Nostalgia Mondays. Everybody knows that.
Super Bowl Monday.
I got the who confused. But we're going to be back tomorrow. Make sure you check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
We need to start sorting out how we're going to smash all these Savoys. Last Friday, we set ourselves the challenge to eat all the Savoys. We have all 40 boxes in a day. Someone said, "Hey, you should do them in a week." We scoffed at that and said, "Hey, we'll do you one better. We'll do them in a day."
Yeah.
Now, over the weekend, we got many applications I've been sorting through of Savoy boys. Because we want a third person. Essentially, we want a professional eater in here, a Savoy boy to come in and do his bit.
I've got a strong lead for a professional eater that I'll be getting in contact with.
I've been sorting through just general Savoy boy applications. A few strong contenders. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this is Luke and Lewis. We'll see you on Tuesday.